Hey everyone, let's just do a simple planting video. I'm going to be planting something I've never done before. One of the biggest ones here is, it's a Fava bean, F-A-V-A. Don't know if I'm saying it correctly, Fava bean, but it's something I saw on a Curtis Stone video where he went to a commercial farmer and they were growing a lot of it. And he was saying that people really liked it, so I figured, why not give it a try? It's supposed to be sort of the texture of sunflower and a little bit of a pea flavor, but without the fibrous side of a pea. So we'll see how that goes. Get some of that planted right now. I just went to deliver some more microgreens to one of my favorite chefs, and he gets these trays. People have asked me about these before. You've seen them in my videos. These are trays that his fish shows up in. So he gives these to me for free. I guess the delivery guys, they deliver them in this, and then they don't want them back. So that's awesome. I love using them. They're really durable. They are a little bit tricky because they do not have holes in the bottom. You could put holes in, but the way that they would stack, it wouldn't be easy to water from below. But I'll just water in the corners to get around that. It's not a big deal for me, but you can kind of understand why that might not be the most ideal way for certain things if they're really tender and you don't want to water from above. But certain things I do water from above. I'm thinking the fava bean's going to be like that. Pea shoots are like that. Sunflower, I water from above, but like I said, I'll grow anything in these because it doesn't bother me to just water the corners. So let me get some soil in one of these trays. We'll open up a bag, see what we got. This mix I have here is it's Pro Mix. I know you saw in a video recently where I kind of made my own by using like a pot and soil and some cocoa coir. And while that worked fine, I just figured I'd give this Pro Mix a try. A lot of people use it, and they really like it. So give it a shot. It works out to about the same cost as most soils. Most soil, you can expect to spend about $1 a tray in soil. These trays are a little bit smaller, but I'm actually using almost the same amount of soil because I just put it in a little bit deeper. Alright, well I just opened up this 5-pound bag, and I can tell you right off, it's not what I expected for seed. It's huge. I don't know how well you can see that, but I did not realize this bean was going to be such a big seed. So it's going to take a lot more than I thought per tray. This 5-pound bag was about $22 or so from True Leaf Market. I'm just going to try to completely cover what I'm my entire soil amount here in like a single layer. If it's really well liked, I'll have to buy it by like 25-pound minimum. Maybe even more. Because I just probably put on probably close to 2 pounds in these 2 little trays. So we just spread these around a little. Trying to get them basically in a single layer. Not really having any stacked on top of each other. Like I said, I really don't know the method for this. I've never done it, so we'll see. I don't mind experimenting with new stuff. Now I'm going to cover it with a layer of soil. Going with probably 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch coating. Okay, I'm going to water that in really heavy. Like I said, I'm watering it in really heavy. When you don't pre-soak your seeds like I don't, you want to water a little bit heavier so it's almost like they're soaking while they're planted. And I really don't have any trouble with mold or anything for the most part, so that's why the dehumidifier is so great. Alright, so I'm going to stack those. Set those aside for now. Grab 2 more trays, and I'm going to do some speckled pea, speckled pea, which is not what I normally grow. I usually grow the Thomas Laxton, which is a very inexpensive pea seed, and I've been very happy with it. No reason to change, but I just figured I'd give the speckled pea a shot. It's like $1 more for 5 pounds or something like that. It's not much. It's about the same price. I'm going to plant this exactly the same way that I just planted that fava bean. I plant it dry, put down a good 1 inch or so layer of soil here, and then I'll spread the seeds evenly over it, pretty much in a solid single layer all the way across, and then I'll cover it with another 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of soil and water it in super heavy. So one thing I can see right off the bat is that these pea seeds are smaller than the Thomas Laxtons. These are speckled pea. I'd say they're maybe almost half the size. Maybe not quite that much smaller, but they're definitely smaller. And these peas are true to the name. They're kind of speckled. The seed itself has like a speckled color to it. It's kind of interesting. And once again with these, I bought 5 pounds. The more you buy, the better the deal. But in my opinion, don't ever buy 1 pound of seeds for peas or sunflower or any of the bigger seeds. You'll see that the price difference between 1 pound and 5 pounds is that you can get 5 pounds for about the price of 2 pounds if you bought individually 2 pounds. So it really doesn't make much sense to buy less. For a lot of stuff, I do buy single pounds. A lot of my radish, even though I could go up to 5 pounds. Most of my smaller seeds I do buy by the pound. Because for a lot of time I'm kind of experimenting or trying things out. 80% coverage, I'm covering the soil in a single layer. So it's not like a complete covering, you could put more in. I'm going to stack these, and I'm going to stack them right on top of the fava bean. I have a feeling that that bean is going to probably germinate slower than the peas, so the peas will probably get unstacked before the fava bean. But we'll see. I'll check them after about 3 to 4 days and see how they're doing. Alright, let's do one more thing that's something I may have shown you, I may not have. I am going to go ahead and plant some basil. And I'm going to do it in a way that you might not have seen before. With basil, I'm going to water the soil before I spread the seed on it. Because it's such a light seed that it could puddle up, and I don't really want that. I want the basil to be nice and even. One of the difficulties with basil is that the seeds like to stick together once they get wet. They have like a gel coat. You'll see it kind of turns gray and then they'll kind of clump up. And when you get sprouts, they'll grab other seeds and kind of pull them up with them. And it makes a real mess. But what I'm going to do, you'll see, helps a lot. And I'll do a follow-up video to show you how they're going. But for starters, I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon. And I'll have to weigh this to figure out what that is in grams, but 1 tablespoon to one of these trays. I use about the same in a 10 by 20 tray. You don't really want to overdo it. So it's 1 tray. This is just Genovese basil, which is it's a pretty inexpensive seed. But it's a pretty nice basil as well. If you can get basil to grow tall and not have the problems of the clumped up seeds and everything, it's a great microgreen. People really want it. It's just that if you don't get the process nailed down, it's a real pain. So you don't really want to grow it unless you know how. When I started off, my first basil harvest, I bet I spent probably close to an hour trying to gather up 2 ounces of it, of having it really nice and clean, and it just was not worth it. And this process works great. So what I have here is just some regular old vermiculite, and I'm going to spread that all over the basil. This seems to ensure that the basil comes up clean and you don't get any of that gray fungusy mold stuff you'll get, and each sprout kind of comes up on its own. Really nice coat here. This is probably 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch thick of vermiculite on top of the basil seed. Okay, I'm going to stack this. I'm going to stack these right on top of the fava bean and the speckled pea. So now I've got a nice tall stack here. It's 6 trays. And normally I would put like a top off of amaranth or something on this, that I won't stack something else on top of that. But kind of tempted to do a little experiment here and just put a lid on this. I have lids to some of these trays. And see how's the basil do with the vermiculite without being stacked. I know it does really well when it is stacked. But I'm kind of thinking it's going to do better if it's stacked. So I don't know if I want to waste this tray on that experiment, but I'll do it. I'll do it anyways. Why not? Got a lid. And I am going to cover that right up. Alright, so I got a little bit of a gap here where it can kind of breathe out. And I think that's going to be it, guys. I wanted to show a lot more planting today, but I just don't have time. I've got to go cook dinner for the family. And yeah, so that's it. Planted some fava beans, some speckled pea, and I showed you a little trick on basil. And I'll show you guys as these things grow. And yeah, keep you updated. If anybody has any questions, let me know. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe. You'll see all kinds of videos like this. Some of them are a lot better than this one. This one's kind of just, showing you a little bit of something, but it's not really anything all that exciting. But, yeah, subscribe. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.